Hey everyone, it's the Geeky Gamer. Thank you for joining me on this most haunted night of the year, October 31st, All Hallows Eve, Halloween. A perfect night for telling terrifying tales. And those of us on the internet have a kind of spooky story that we know all too well. Creepypastas. Now, I'm not really big on creepypastas or horror in general, though I am appreciating some creepier stuff lately. I'm a fan of The Librarian and his creepy yet comfy content. But I've grown out of creepypastas. Too many are overly edgy and cringy and not truly creepy. However, I was a touch more interested in them when I was younger, and tried my hand at a few spookier stories. So, I figured we could take a look at some of my past attempts at some haunting tales. Join me, if you dare. I have 4 stories to share with you tonight. 2 are creepypastas, and 2 are just generally spooky stories. This first story may be unexpected, as it revolves around something I've said the name of less than 10 times on this channel so far. At least I think. I present to you, Danny Default versus the Minor 40-Nighter. Yep, it's a Fortnite fanfic. Only played it a few times in summer 2019, and I had no desire to play it since. Now, I lost the original pitch that I wrote, but here's the gist. Danny is a big Fortnite fan, and still uses all the default stuff. One day, he gets sucked into the game itself, as tended to happen in many old gaming fanfics. Inside the game, Danny and his fellow players start seeing creepy signs, hinting at an infamously cancelled skin, the Minor 40-Nighter. Like Minor 49er, but 40-Nighter. The Minor 40-Nighter is not just a skin, he's alive in the game, and out for revenge after his release was cancelled. It's up to Danny Default and his fellow players to defeat the Minor 40-Nighter and stop his revenge plan in order to save Fortnite Island. But perhaps I've given too much away about the story. Let's start reading. Yep, you're seeing that right. This was my April Fool's joke in 2018. See, I was in this literary magazine club in middle school, and we had this Google Classroom for the club that ended up as a place for us to share our fanfics and stuff. That's why I lost the original pitch I wrote. It was on the Google Classroom post, I saved the document, but lost access to the post. But yeah, I hated Fortnite back then, because everyone abandoned Minecraft for it, so my idea of an April Fool's joke was a die-hard Minecraft fan like myself writing a Fortnite fanfic. Although the premise I came up with honestly isn't that bad. You could probably make a half-decent story out of it. Alright, on to something real. This is the first and only entry in a document titled Gaming Creepypastas. Sounds like the creepypasta's ready. Sans the line is smells, not sounds. Anyway, let us begin the Hell Valley Sky Trees. Who would have expected such a happy franchise as Super Mario would contain something so sinister? There's something wrong with the grammar in that sentence. By the time I picked up a copy of Super Mario Galaxy 2 for the Nintendo Wii, I was well aware of the mysterious figures everyone had talked about in Shiverburn Galaxy. Shadowy figures on a cliff, only visible if you looked at them in first-person mode. A texture in the game's files named Hell Valley Skytree, and a galaxy internally named Beyond Hell Valley. I wanted to learn more about these figures, so I started with their small appearance at the end of World 4-4 in Super Mario 3D Land. Yep, anybody remember that? People were saying like, oh, it's the Hell Valley Skytrees. No, it's just something different. I used the same software used by She Says on Boundary Break to move the camera anywhere I want, but I could not learn anything new. This was just an Easter egg. The She Says thing, that might not have aged well. Earlier this week, he was saying some stuff he's saying some dumb stuff on Twitter about, talking about, DEI and the agenda and, Sweet Baby Inc., which, he got called out for. He apologized, he said that, wasn't informed that, stuff like that, especially, DEI and agenda were, quite commonly used charge statements against minorities, which I kind of find hard to believe that he somehow didn't know that. And he said that he does appreciate diversity, but, I really want to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's not looking the best, but, there's still a chance to, salvage it. If you fell into the right-wing pipeline, She Says, it's not too late to get yourself out of that pipeline. Somehow that is the scariest thing in this video, the idea that someone you didn't think was a bigoted loser could potentially be a bigoted loser. I just really hope he isn't. Anyway, back to the crappy creepypasta. The crappypasta. I knew I had to go back to the roots of this 9-year mystery. Returning to Galaxy 2, I used She Says' software to go up to the cliff in Shiverburn. That was a mistake. I'm just realizing, the person did not... It just says that they're using She Says' software, but it's just no-clip. It's just like no-clip mods and stuff. I didn't know how that stuff worked back then. I wrote this in like, what, 2018 maybe? Oh, here we go, there's the trees. When I reached the figures, I circled around to see if they were just 2D textures. But when I circled, I learned that they were not just 2D, and not even just 3D. The fourth dimension is time, and these figures were 4D. They turned to look at a camera that shouldn't even be there. I started to move out of the room, and their eyes followed me. And then, they attacked the camera. Okay, so, turning to look at a camera that shouldn't even be there, they could just be getting billboarded. Like, they could just be billboarded textures that, you know, all automatically turn to face the camera. A ton of games that do stuff like that. I did not know as much about game dev back then. But then, of course, you know, the fourth wall will not protect you. You know, they're looking at the guy moving out around the room and then attacking the camera. Like, ugh. Yeah, this is filled with cliches. My Wii crashed and started smoking. Can we get the Wii crash sound? There we go. Over the beeping of the smoke alarm and the sirens of the emergency vehicles, I could hear my heart pound louder than ever. These figures, long thought to be an Easter egg or leftover from development, were real, living, breathing, four-dimensional beings. I know creepypastas are making, you know, stories out of random stuff like this, but man, this is low, but even for creepypasta standards. I tried to tell this to the authorities, but they led me into an ambulance. I tell this story now in a padded room, wearing a straitjacket with somebody writing this down. Remember, the trees are always watching. Don't watch back. So they just have someone like record, like writing down the stuff that he's telling them in the padded room in Asylum. What was this? Oh, and there's a close-up. Yeah, I think there's a reason why that's the only creepypasta in this document. It's a good thing, because this sucked. Like, we still don't entirely know what the deal with the Hell Valley Sky Trees was, like, why they're up there. And it is probably just an Easter egg. I have no idea, like, why they kept calling it, you know, Hell Valley, maybe because it's part of lava and everything. I don't know, this was weird. This was bad. This was bad. For being one of the most, you know, similar to most gaming creepypastas, this is not good. Like, this is, like, worse than some of the worst of the worst. Like, at least nobody died in this. At least there was no, you know, at least the Hell Valley Sky Trees didn't escape the game and, you know, crawl out of the screen and murder the guy in his room. Or at least, you know, the disc wasn't haunted. Like, this specific copy of the game, you know, they come to life, you know, like, bend round or whatever. But yeah, a lot of gaming creepypastas are not great, and this did not add anything. Next up, the other generally spooky story after the concept for Danny Defaults, and the longest out of all of these. Minecraft, the Ghost. I wrote this after reading the first two official Minecraft novels, The Island and The Crash, and thought I could write one that I could pitch to Mojang as an upcoming official novel. Clearly I was a bit stupid. Let's see how much I actually wrote of an entire book. Man, this Minecraft logo is so low quality. Like, can I really not find anything better to put above the Press Start 2P title? Let's get the Mojang logo up there. I was trying to replicate the official covers of The Island and The Crash, but did not do that well. And originally my real name was down here, but I swapped it out at some point. I don't remember when or why, because this never got released. Introduction. Why did I call it an introduction, not a prologue? Well, no, it's not a prologue, because prologues, you know, happened before. Introduction. It's been a while since the incident happened. I honestly don't remember all of it. It just went by in a flash. It's just crazy that I was chosen. I mean, me, of all people on the planet. There are obviously people that are braver, smarter, stronger. I'm just a guy who plays video games and makes videos about it, just like so many others before me. Yet I was chosen, out of about 144 million people, to save the two worlds all of us loved. I believe that was the sales numbers for Minecraft at the time that I wrote this. To save these worlds from the most infamous myth in all of gaming. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. Not the most infamous. Not even the most well-known. Like, Ella's Real 2401 is probably better known. Well, maybe not. I don't know. A myth that, had I not been summoned, would have destroyed us all. Ooh. Chapter 1. It all started out as a normal day. I followed my daily routine. Get up, get dressed, eat breakfast, play Minecraft. If there were a dictionary that had every phrase on the planet and every definition of said phrases, you could look up Minecraft enthusiast and find a picture of me. Of course, no such dictionary exists, so you'll just have to take my word for it. really trying to make this guy about, like, ooh, he is a super, Minecraft enthusiast, or... Simply put, I love Minecraft. I own every official guide, and I even flipped through the old outdated handbooks to see how much the game has evolved. Fun fact, I actually have the original 4 handbooks still. Got them at a Scholastic Book Fair. Minecon was my yearly vacation until they switched to the Minecon Earth livestream. I've played story mode, both seasons, and dungeons, so evidently I edited this after Dungeons came out, or maybe just after Dungeons was announced. And every update to the original game is kinda like a holiday, seeing as they get released about once a year now. The only Minecraft thing I don't do is creepypastas, and this is where we get, yeah. There are these stories everyone makes up with these crazy evil guys. I've heard of a lot, like Entity 303, Null, Green Steve, Lunar, and I don't believe a single one. Does anybody remember Lunar? Like, and people know Entity 303, he's probably, the number 2. Null, I was watching Librarian's series on the Broken Script, and Null's a big part of that. Green Steve, I think, is just, like, memorable for being so stupid. It's just like, oh, it's Green Steve. Then Lunar. I think Lunar was basically just ripping off the moon from Majora's Mask and put it in Minecraft. What was the deal with that? And I don't believe a single one. Especially Herobrine. He's the most famous, or infamous, of all Minecraft creepypastas. Unlike most people, however, I knew that they're all fake. Boy, was I wrong. It all comes back around to Herobrine. The OG, the big one. Although, actually no, he's not the OG, because there was the whole White Eyes thing that ended up evolving into Herobrine. I've talked about how none of the creepypastas are real, and that people are just being pranked on my YouTube channel, but nobody listens. Everyone is convinced that their worlds are haunted. By the time I was writing this, no one believed in them anymore, except 5-year-olds. The day of the incident, I wasn't planning to do a video. Now that I'm writing this whole thing down, I wish I had been. I fired up the game and joined my friends in my server. Is that grammar right? I don't know. We do all sorts of stuff. Building, redstone, and even some PvP. Oh wow. You do 3 things. What, no minigames? No economy? Like, come on, I can name tons more things than Hermitcraft does. But the thing that happened next is the whole reason I'm even here to write this. You just get on with it. The dirt backgrounded screen. Dirt backgrounded. What? The dirt backgrounded screen said, joining world. Then, all I could see was our server's lobby. And I mean that literally. With a lot of people, they can start playing a game and just tune out everything else. This wasn't like that. Actually, I'm kind of proud of that, kind of people zone out and just, they're only focusing on the game. I moved my right hand on the mouse to look around, but I didn't. My blocky right fist did move slightly, though. I moved my left hand fingers to press... My left hand fingers, what? Moved my left hand fingers to press WASD and move around, but I didn't. Did it with my left fist. Spacebar to jump, and a little movement in my left hand. Left click to punch, right click to place a block, none worked. Finally, I looked down at my keyboard, and I looked down at the pixelated floor. And here we go. You know what I mentioned the DNA default thing about, so many gaming stories just have the people get sucked into the game? Yep, here we go. Here's this. By now, I was hoping someone had quickly put on some sort of VR Minecraft, or maybe even drugged me and made me fall asleep. Just talking about drugs. This would never fly. This would never fly. Mojang would never allow this as an actual story. But neither could have happened, as I was alone, and the door was locked. This could be a dream, and I could still be asleep, I thought, so I'll just dream my way around. I tried moving my legs, and I miraculously moved on cuboid feet. I punched the wall, knocked out a block, and put it back. Now I was in control. What wall did he punch out? I should have specified, what block. If I just dream, I'll eventually wake up. I hadn't noticed, right then and there, that I actually felt the block I destroyed, or the floor beneath my feet. Okay, but I know people have the whole, pinch me if I'm, am I dreaming, like, what, you supposedly can't feel anything in a dream? I don't know, wouldn't there be some kind of, stimulated, senses in a dream? Then, I suddenly knew something. A tingling in my brain. It was like somebody sent a text to my brain, or a chat message. I knew that Kaboomerang has joined the game. That's not the syntax. That's not what it says when someone joins the game. There's no has. It's just play your name, join the game. You got it wrong. Horrible. 0 out of 10. Completely unreadable. Aiden, otherwise known as Kaboomerang, is the wildest of our group. His favorite thing to do is grief, but because griefing others is outlawed per our server rules, he just builds little noob huts and blows them up, over and over and over again. I actually kind of like the name Kaboomerang. That was kind of fun. Aiden's avatar, a demolitions expert with a TNT helmet and a belt filled with dynamite, appeared nearby. When he spoke, I could hear it. Hold up, were they on voice chat? They had a voice chat mod? Simple voice chat a couple years before it was invented? Yo Josh, wanna help with something? Sure, I said. It's just a dream, so nothing will really get destroyed. I chuckled inside. His tasks normally involve TNT. Dude, what are you talking about? It's a shared dream. You know, all that stuff about being able to walk in each other's dreams. Or walk in others' dreams. Man, I think you finally lost it. I was confused. Try looking around. In real life, I mean. Move your head, punch something, make movements you could make in Minecraft. About a minute later, his avatar had not moved an inch, except for the automatic swaying of the arms and the left leg. I don't think the left leg sways anymore. Because they used to have it, like, your right leg stays still, but the left leg kind of sways very slightly. But I think they might have stopped that. I don't remember. Then he spoke again. Yep, you've lost it. Just come to my space and help me out, will ya? Now I was worried. If I could interact with him while he was in the real world and I was in the Minecraft world, there was only one answer. So we're just dropping the whole dreaming thing? Like, this could still be a dream, but in the dream, you're sucked into the game. There's no logic to this. There's zero logic. I had read many horrible fanfictions about people getting sucked into Minecraft, literally. I didn't want to think about this, so I just followed Aiden. Like I knew it was stupid. I knew it was stupid, and I still did it. I was trying to be meta about it. We eventually arrived at Aiden's part of the server world. He had a large chamber made of obsidian, so that its explosions wouldn't damage the landscape. There was also a statue of Magnus the Rogue from Story Mode. Rip Bozo! I did the same thing RT Game did when I first played it on Netflix. Got to the end of episode 3, picked Elgard's armor, didn't realize that would make her die, or rewinded, picked Magnus's armor to get him killed. Kinda makes sense that Aiden respects someone who likes blowing stuff up, even if that person is fictional. You're both fictional. This is a book. His main house was a colored concrete TNT block with lava all around. As we walked up to the house, I got nervous. I could actually feel the heat of the lava. Inside, he grabbed some end stone, iron bars, and an iron door, then gave them to me. Build a house just like this one in the chamber. He looked to a small hut made of end stone. I like the attention to detail that he looked to it. He didn't point. He just looked to it because you can't like point in Minecraft unless you punch. The door would have to be placed from the inside. My willingness to help out made me oblivious to what would happen next. I built the hut, then placed the iron door. 3 seconds later, I realized Aiden hadn't given me any redstone to open the door. In this instant panic, I didn't think about checking my inventory for some sort of switch. Then, I heard Aiden's YouTuber-inspired battle cry, followed by explosions. I'ma blow stuff up with my TNT. I couldn't spit it with a straight face. Oh boy. Didn't TNT have more views than like the official upload of Dynamite at one point? Chapter 2. So that was chapter 1. 4 pages. 4 pages in chapter 1. Wow. Yeah, I could not write a book back then. Chapter 2. My ears rang as explosions rocked the obsidian chamber. I should have known Aiden would do this. He's an expert at finding loopholes, causing us to be very specific with server rules. Technically, it's still legal on our server to blow up something that someone else built because you told them to, though I'm not sure about blowing it up when that person is inside. TNT cannons ignited all around. Blocks of endstone broke, and small breaking particles flew towards me. I lost no health, but I could still feel the shards. Does endstone break with TNT? I probably did write that specifically because it does, but I want to check. Blast resistance of 9. Yeah, blast resistance of 9. Maximum blast resistance for TNT is 9. And that's just maximum blast resistance in general. So endstone is legit one of the strongest blocks that can still be exploded. Yeah, along with, yes, Dragon Egg and the endstone variant. Endstone bricks, those are the blast resistance of 9. You go up one further to the Creaking Heart, and that's 10. So endstone really is the hardest thing that you can still blow up with TNT. What the heck, man? I screamed at the top of my lungs, but the detonations drowned me out. Coming to my senses, I opened my inventory for something that could help, and hit the jackpot. A lever. Then I looked up and saw that the door got destroyed by TNT. This was lucky, as I would need that lever. I sprinted out the opening, and came across the door of the chamber itself. Aiden had removed the activation, but the iron door was no match for my lever. And yes, I know how stupid that sounds. Then why did I write it? If it's stupid, why did I write it? Did I know about the whole lever bit in story mode? Because, like, you can craft a lever in episode 1 and then bring it to episode 4 in Ivor's lab, but I don't know. I sprinted away as fast as I could until my hunger bar reached 3 shanks, and then I just ran at normal speed. So we're still playing by Minecraft rules. I soon reached our town and my house. After surrounding my house in obsidian, I ran inside. How big is the house? How big is your house? How much obsidian did you have? I opened my refrigerator and pulled out a cake to restore my hunger. Sitting down to chow down, I pondered my predicament. I must have been proud of the rhyming alliteration, or whatever. Somehow, I dreamed my way into a replica of our server, where Aiden also was, and said he wasn't dreaming. So, finally, we're back to that logic that, like, yeah, maybe this is still just a dream. Unless it's not a dream, I thought, and the cake suddenly felt heavy in my stomach. No, that's stupid. There's just no way to physically be in a video game. That's just something that's been milked by too many fanfictions. Add one more to the list. And that's it. There was nothing else. So yeah, I'll say that I don't remember where the story was even going. I don't even think I had a plan other than we're gonna get to Herobrine eventually. Yeah, because I especially mentioned Herobrine and, you know, most infamous myth in all of gaming. So it would have been a Herobrine story eventually. And, you know, destroyed us all. That's not the Herobrine story. Like, in the years since, I have a lot more respect for the original Herobrine story that was just, you know, he's just an observer. He's just watching. He's not interfering, he's just watching you. He's doing some of his stuff on his own, but he's just chilling. Just wants to be left alone. So it was really stupid how many people were just turning him into this uber villain, you know, the final boss of Minecraft or whatever. But I liked some of the interpretations that, you know, Entity 303 was the real villain and Herobrine was trying to warn us about him because Herobrine's not that bad. Yeah, Herobrine's not really a bad guy. But I don't know, this is another one that I had too lofty ambitions. I was trying to write a whole book, like a whole, 200-page book or something? 200, 300 page? How long? Yeah, Minecraft the Island is 288 pages, and I looked at the Wikipedia article, it calls it an isekai. I mean, it is an isekai. Yeah, this was another one that kind of sucked. It was a bit better, but I was, you know, trying to, like, not do tropes, and I did tropes and cliches, and it was stupid. Now, on to our last story. This one does something different. It was my attempt to create a creepypasta character. In that literary magazine club I mentioned earlier, which the group still kept a cool classroom even when we went into high school, one of the members did a lot of stuff with creepypasta characters. Think classics like Slenderman, or some of the other stuff like Smile Dog, or Jeff the Killer. Hope he doesn't Jeff the Kill me. I think there were some members of the club making their own creepypasta-ish characters, so I tried my hand at one. Phil. In fact, since I only ever wrote a description of Phil's appearance, I'm going to draw him for the first time as I read you his profile. Obviously I recorded these separately, but I'm putting them together for your viewing pleasure. Phil. Age. 14. Gender. Male. Weapons of choice. Wii Remote with laser in it. Switchblade Joy-Con. Working NES Zapper. Nunchucks. Deadly Wii peripherals. Numerous weapons from video games, etc. Likes. Video games. Dislikes. People interrupting his gaming. Appearance. Long, greasy black hair. Creeper hoodie. Corny gaming t-shirt. Sweatpants. Slippers. Robot arm he installed to improve performance, so evidently I had discovered Metarunner by then. Personality. Loves to play video games, which fuel his violence. Hates interruptions, people, etc., and so destroys them. Extremely lazy and procrastinates a lot. Will do anything to get better at games. Likes to reenact games in real life, and has created mushrooms that actually give him extra lives. Sees all other people as NPCs, though sees other creepypastas as other players. Backstory. His dad worked at Nintendo. Real. My uncle worked at Nintendo there. And worked on many games and ports of games of all genres, exposing Phil to lots of games. An obsession with games led him to think they could happen in real life, and ended up murdering his father. Declaring that his father was a non-essential NPC, he continued down his violent path. Fun fact, once, while in the middle of a session, ordered someone to bring him a snack. When they returned with the snack, he killed them for interrupting his game, then took the snack. Wow. Man, so some of the other stuff was just, like, really tropey and stuff. This is just overly edgy. Like, ooh, he gets obsessed with video games and turns him violent, which, you know, not great, you know, the whole video game violence he kills his father. Just right then and there, because he thinks games could happen in real life. So he goes straight to murdering his dad? Huh? And then he was in the middle of a gaming session to order someone to bring him a snack, and he kills them for interrupting when they return with it. I think the dude just likes killing people. I mean, he's a creepypasta character, so yeah, there's like nothing to him. He's just, he likes video games. He likes killing people. He likes killing people for interrupting his video games. Wow. Like, probably Jeff the Killer actually has more depth than this. And I don't know anything about Jeff the Killer. This is garbage. And anyway, here's my drawing of Phil. This is him. This is Phil. Why did I choose that name? Seriously, what was I thinking? Why Phil? Well, that was all a bunch of crap. I was not as good at storytelling back then, and certainly not good at creepy stuff. The Hell Valley Skytrees was both trying too hard to be creepy and not enough to actually make sense. Minecraft the Ghost was overly ambitious and delusional for me at the time, and it was immediately getting tropey. Phil was hilariously edgy, yet really had nothing to him, and I never did anything with him. And Danny Default versus the Minor 40-Nighter wasn't even real. But it's fun to look back at my old work and see how much I've improved, even if this is the genre I don't touch anymore. Now, you'd best be going. It's getting late, and you don't want to be out there when it gets too dark. I'm the Geeky Gamer. See ya!